Hello everyone, and welcome to TowerDiveTV's tournament number 28. We are here with myself, Sakimans, and my co-caster for the first half of today's tournament, Azza Rocky Dragon. How's it going, Azza?
Yeah, I have to say roar. That's how it's going. That's how I am. That's how everything is.
You gotta
It's
get that
just
out.
roar.
Yeah, it looks like we have a good tournament this week.
Yeah, we got a lot of great returning teams. We have Dream Team, they're back. We also have Salad Girls, as well as Team Basic. Some other names you might have heard of before: NTDTV, League 5 Titans, All-Star lineup, Team Keep Sports. We actually have our own team here as well, Team Tower Dive, and we also have Siren. Siren is back. Unfortunately, I believe Siren got knocked out first round last time, but they did face a fairly strong opponent, so let's hope they do a little bit better this time.
Yeah, hopefully. I think it's funny how Salad Girls used to be Salad Chicks, and did they used to be something else before that?
Yeah, at some point they changed their name to Salad Whores.
Yeah.
And they just kind of rotate between those sort of salad blanks.
At least they're staying healthy, right?
Yeah.
They're promoting health and general well-being of the Tower Dive stream viewers.
You know, their Skype pictures are all of girls eating salad. So, a little fun fact there.
Oh, that is great. Inside jokes to the max. Well, getting a little inside thing on the teams here. And I believe, is the team Tower Dive in our brackets our actual Tower Dive team?
I believe it is.
Alright, well, also for those of you who paid attention to the brackets as well, we do have a team in there named Team Tower Dive, which is a team, I guess, who's going to be playing under our name this week.
They indeed will be. So we're just waiting for the last member of the red team to join in here. So in the meantime, how are you guys doing, chat? Go ahead and shout out to us, ask us questions. Like the usual, we always like to answer those.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
It's a slow day. I'm coming in to chat with you guys. I don't have anything better to do, so just shh. Shh. Hi.
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 So I just woke up. How are you guys doing?
I'm pretty good.
Just pretty good?
Dude,
Yeah.
I can't
The
sleep.
dramatic pause there made it better.
Okay. I'm glad.
My mood is a little bit better after that.
Oh man.
Dude, I can't sleep the morning before tournaments. I'm always like, I don't want to oversleep, so I'm just not going to sleep once I wake up or even open my eyes.
Nice. You always get that excited about doing tournaments, Saki?
Yeah, it's fun.
Tournaments are fun.
That's good to know, at least.
Get to talk to a bunch of people, get to cast some good games.
Get to sit here and mod stream chat and answer emails for the next 2 hours.
Getting a lot of emails.
I had like 6 emails to answer yesterday on my personal TowerDiveTV work email, and then about a dozen to answer on my other email, and I had to get in touch with a guide writer, and I have to talk with the guys at Guild Wars 2, and there's a lot of shit to be done. That is fun times. It's fun times.
That sounds fun.
Welcome to what I do. It's boring as hell. Oh, I also have to interview like 3 Guild Wars 2 casters today, because I didn't get the chance to yesterday. Yep.
Yep, so we're still waiting for this one last person to get into the game for the blue team. For the red team, actually.
Oh my god, stop being boring and get them in there.
Anyone else like dancing to 8-bit music?
There
Hey,
we
we
go.
got our guy.
There's the 5th.
Ah, yeah, and now we don't have to worry about anything, and I can actually get out of here. You guys can go ahead and do your job. Yeah.
Yay.
She's gonna stalk the rest of you guys in chat, so
Yeah, have fun, guys. Make sure to watch your backs, and I can totally see that shirt you're wearing. It's awesome. It looks nice.
Huh?
What
Well,
shirt?
Nothing. Oh God, no. As a Raki, as a
I don't
Raki.
I don't know what you're who are you talking
well,
about? I don't even know.
Just shh, shh. I'm talking about the nice people in chat. I'm
Oh.
watching
well. Chat aside,
windows.
we are actually going to be getting into the first picks and bans lobby. Come on, switch over. I guess I'm just gonna have to manually switch over XSplit for a little bit because it is not working. But we are going to switch over, put up the summoner blockers just so you guys cannot see any of those summoner spells, just in case you guys are watching the tournament. And I think Solid Chicks were making it apparent that they were. We are going to see bans shoot out from the different teams. Twisted Fate coming out very, very strong. Pretty much a global presence champion, and Jarvan being banned as well, giving that attack speed and giving himself a little extra armor. I believe they took it off on his teammates.
Yeah, I think they might have.
His
But
flag
on the
armor.
blue team, they did in fact ban Twisted Fate, and we might see a Shen ban a little bit later in this game because they do seem to be targeting a little bit of that global pressure, as well as they banned Thresh, who's pretty much a nightmare in the bot lane. If he lands a hook, it might not be pulling them back as far as Blitzcrank hook, and it might not be doing it as fast, but you also get that 1 or 2 seconds of stun from Thresh, and it's a great displacement ability. So it's a great ban. I can definitely see why teams wouldn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, it's a pretty nasty thing to have a Thresh come flying into your team also, and just put up that box, which is a 95% slow. It's essentially CC. So, even if you just hit one wall, that's a couple seconds of pretty much CC and a little bit of damage that goes off as well. So, definitely a very strong initiator and a character that can really make a lot of plays. And we are going to see Anivia and Hecarim banned out as well.
Yeah, Anivia is not a band that we've seen too much of recently. Anivia is in a great place right now in terms of the amount of power she has against other champions. She's not really overpowered, she's not underpowered, so she's right in the middle at one of those good places. And if you're a good Anivia player, you can land those walls really well, you can help out your team, then it's going to be really, really strong champion. But on the other hand, if you're not the best with Anivia, it's not really too much that you're going to need to worry about. So I can see why they want it banned. Possibly going to be banning it against this specific team, the Salad Girls. They might be playing Anivia a lot recently. And on top of that, we also have Hecarim and Amumu banned, two very strong junglers. They have a lot of ganking presence as well as teamfight presence. Hecarim, late game, we know he's just extremely tanky and has an AoE fear on his ultimate, which is also a dash. So he's got some great teamfight initiation and utility. And Amumu basically does the same thing. He's got a bandage toss for the initiation. He dashes over, uses his ultimate, and there's a big AoE snare. So both of those champs, heavy AoE initiation fighters, and I like to see those guys banned.
Yeah, and you mentioned Shen earlier. He was the first pickup of the game. We had Shen instantly locked in by the Salad Girls there. Very, very strong global champion. As you said earlier, his ultimate definitely can have him jump around. And if he takes other summoner spells, he can get around like teleport and, flash and things like that. It makes him incredibly mobile and incredibly useful at initiating fights at almost any point in the game. And we do see Blitzcrank locked in. And hovering over Lee Sin for the first two picks of the purple team. So it looks like we're seeing some strong initiators from both sides.
Yeah, Blitzcrank, it's a scary place to pick Blitzcrank as your first pick, because at this point in the meta he's not strong enough to want to first pick it away from the enemy team, because there are a lot of different supports that are really, really useful at the moment. And wow, Wilkinson hovering over Karthus, but back on the Blitzcrank point, there are a lot of champs that you can play support that, Blitzcrank isn't the best against. You can pick something like Tark, you can pick Leona. They both have really nice CC that's close range, and they have burst that's close range. So if you pull them in, then you're kind of just doing the gap closing for them, and it might not end up being the best pull. So against certain champs, you need to play Blitzcrank very carefully, and Janna is a champ that she works sort of well against Blitzcrank. It's fairly even matchup. Obviously, if Janna gets pulled, then that's not very good, but if she doesn't get pulled, if her lane partner doesn't get pulled, then they're going to have the upper hand because Janna has so much mechanic in order to allow someone like Caitlyn, who they have picked up, to continue poking. If someone on the purple team bot lane overextends just a little bit, then Janna will be able to knock them up, slow them, and Wilkinson playing Caitlyn, having a lot of range, is going to be able to capitalize on that very, very easily.
Yeah, Blitzcrank also, with his recent nerf to his mana on his grab, it's going to make him really have to pick and choose who he targets. And both of those targets, with the extra movement speed from Janna's passive and the already safe lane that Caitlyn's going to provide, it's really going to make it hard for Blitz to make anything happen. But if he does land a very, very good pull, we're going to see, we're just going to see a great initiation, because Blitzcrank, ultimately that's why people still pick him, because, he can just initiate fights pretty well, better than most people, because he brings them to your team as opposed to, charging into the enemies.
Alright, so we see the blue team, they have got Shen and they have locked in Nocturne, so we're definitely seeing a sort of a global presence comp, and I kind of expected the Karthus pick to continue up there, so they're going to have so much lane presence around the map. If something happens in the bot lane, if, say, someone gets pulled by Blitzcrank, we have the Shen ultimate to protect whoever got pulled, followed up by obviously Shen coming in, taunting people, Wilkinson doing a lot of damage on Caitlyn, and we also have a Karthus ultimate to follow up. So any fights that the purple team tries to aggressively go out and make happen, it's going to be turned around against them most likely because of the amount of global presence the blue team has. And even Nocturne, even though his range isn't quite what it used to be on his ultimate, he can still move a fairly large distance in order to get to a lane or to get to a gank. So it's going to be really hard for the purple team to be able to make some of this action happen, which is unfortunate because they've got a team that wants to make action happen. They really do. They have a Blitzcrank whose entire purpose is to catch someone with a pull them out, and burst them down at that point. They also have Draven, who really needs to be snowballed in the early game, because if he stays in line in terms of farm with Caitlyn, then he's generally going to be behind when it comes to late game team fighting, because it's a little bit harder to position Draven unless you forego some of your spinning axes. In that case, you're not quite doing as much damage as you could. And Aurelia is also one of those champs, as we know, to be a heavy 1v1 fighter. In the top lane, she wants to be taking as many trades as possible. She wants to try to out all in the enemy top lane. So I think the blue team, in terms of their team comp, they're so far winning this game.
Yeah, definitely with team fights, but we've seen, big AoE team fight comps that, like, I think last week in the tournament, they had this just like Vladimir like Lulu, Diana, like some really, really Jarvan, some really, really nasty AoE team comp. And they just end up being steamrolled because the purple team, was able to engage fights that they wanted, or whatever team did at the time. And we are now actually going to be removing the summoner blockers from the thing, so you can now see everyone's summoners here real quick. Shen going to be in that top lane right there. Karthus, it looks like going to be in the middle. Caitlyn, Janna in the bot lane, and Nocturne in the jungle. Pretty predictable picks right there. As well as on the purple team, we are going to see Draven and Zyra in the bot lane. Zyra having a little more kill potential by taking that ignite. However, they do not have an exhaust, so they are very...
Zyra's going to be going mid. They have a Blitzcrank who's going to be going support.
Oops, I totally... The Blitzcrank, so they... Wow, okay. So they do have that exhaust, and they are going to have Zyra mid, but Zyra over Karthus has that exhaust, has that ignite, so it is going to have a little more kill potential. Exhaust doing a little bit less damage reduction on ability power champs. However, it's still a very useful spell to keep them in, your Karthus's damage, your E and your Q.
Yeah, against Karthus, Zyra is not actually going to have that hard of a time. What Wilkinson is really going to want to do near the early game is just sit back and farm up with Qs. He can't really do too much to end up killing Zyra, because if he gets too close, Zyra's got a lot of sort of turnaround engage. If she puts down a couple of seeds and activates them, then some of those seeds can also have slows if she uses her snare to pass through them. And not only that, but it's also going to snare Wilkinson. It does a lot of damage on top of that, as well as her Q, which is going to do even more damage. So Wilkinson really doesn't want to get too close to Zyra, so he's just going to want to stand back and farm.
Yeah. I do like the fact, talking more about the summoner spells now that we can see them, I do like the fact that Irelia took teleport. It is going to allow her to, really keep up with that Shen and really split push. I mean, they're not going to have the utility of the shield, and you're going to really be in a fixed position, whereas Shen, really has, when he's teleporting onto someone, they can still move. They can jump right into the middle of the enemy team. So if he shields Karthus as Karthus is in the middle of the team, or Nocturne, that's essentially just going to be throwing two people in the middle of the team fight. So it's going to keep it a little bit, more in favor, at least in the early game. She can teleport to a ward, she can teleport to a minion, but late game, it's still not going to have that engagement potential that Shen and Nocturne, bring to the table. Along just with that Karthus is just a final little smack on the nail right there to really knock it into place.
Yeah, that's very true. Karthus, his ultimate brings so much global pressure. It's pretty ridiculous. So Purple Team, they're really going to have to be careful. They want to make sure that they're playing a little bit more passively than their team comp wants them to. Because if they take a wrong engagement, it can easily be turned around with a Karthus ult, like you said. So we're going to want to see the Purple Team maybe trying to fight better fights. They certainly don't want to play passively because their team comp isn't really about passive. Blitzcrank is certainly not a passive support, and if you play him that way, then your lane partner is going to be behind in terms of his farm because he's going to get poked down quite a bit. Blitzcrank wants to land those big pulls. He wants to make action happen in the bot lane, but what they're going to have to do, they're going to have to be more careful about it. They can't just make some action happen when they want to anymore. They're just going to have to wait until the enemy team makes a mistake so that they can capitalize on that, make sure, they catch him out of position or something like that, and they can't really fight a straight-up 2v2 at this moment.
All right, just taking a quick look at the skin war here, because it's a common practice here. We are actually going to see Salad Chicks losing to GG, or RGG, and RGG has 3 skins. Boom Boom Blitzcrank, honestly, the better Blitzcrank skin there, and I think they did a good job with their skin choices.
Yeah, the skin choices are pretty good. I have to say I like them. Unfortunately, not that many. I would have definitely liked to see Eternum Nocturne. That's a really great skin in my opinion. And they also have Lee Sin's, which one is it? The Dragon Fist Lee Sin, where he's kind of like Bruce Lee.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a pretty cool skin.
Bruce Lee
Or you
Sin.
can even go Muay Thai. That's a really cool skin as well.
Yeah, Muay Thai Lee Sin, definitely cool. There are a lot of really good skins in this game. Riot really stepped up their game after they realized that, hey, these recolors, not really the best idea.
Have you seen the Rusty Blitzcrank skin? Which
It's
is
just
basically Blitzcrank, but darker.
Off-color yellow Blitzcrank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that skin is pretty interesting.
I think I've seen one person actually have it.
Alright, well, we are now getting into the first match of the Tower Dive TV tournament number 28. Getting right in here with Salad Chicks and Resets GG. And it looks like immediately we are seeing pings come out by the blue team. They might want to set up a defense here.
Yep, against a Blitzcrank, you definitely want to defend because at level 1 he has a pull, which is something that's really, really good for him to help him and his team in invades. In automatic disposition, you can pull someone on their team way back into your team, and there are 5 people using their abilities and auto-attacking that one person, and the rest of the blue team won't have that much time to react. So they might not even be able to get in a shot until whoever Blitzcrank has pulled has died, so they really want to be careful in terms of this invade. And I like the fact that they've already placed a ward right outside their blue buff, really keeps awareness for them as they actually go for a red start. Nocturne deciding to go for the red start, and it looks like red team, they poked in with a ward trying to do something, trying to get vision, although they do see the fact that the blue team is sort of in the bottom lane, but what they don't see is the fact that they might be going for an invade here.
Yeah, they do have a pretty strong level 1 coming out here with, again, as you were saying, Blitzcrank, very strong level 1, Draven, one of the strongest level 1 damages, and Zyra has that snare. Ooh, they're going to come in here undetected, though. It does not look like red team has noticed, so they could go take their... Nope, they're going to invade, so we're going to see both teams just shoot for each other's buffs right here. Very, very interesting thing right here. They're like, no one's here. We're just going to pick up the blue. And I have a feeling that Reset is thinking the exact same thing.
So Randu Axie is actually going to come out a little bit farther ahead in this sort of jungle trade because he did end up taking wolves as well, so he's going to get level 2 right off of this buff, which is going to help him out a little bit. And they might even catch the red team as they go back to their respective lanes. Maybe Karthus might see them go into the mid lane, or Janna and Caitlyn might see them go into the bot lane. It looks like Karthus walking right past Awesome Possum, and no one actually decides to poke their head out. We're just going to see everything return back to their normal lanes, although Nocturne and Lee Sin already headed down towards the bot lane.
Yeah, just looking a little bit at the starting items people bought. Junglers really starting a standard build. Top laners starting with a lot of sustain right there, really wanting to make it through the early part of their laning phases. Both pretty late game top laners really have a little bit of a weak early game. I think Aurelia a little bit stronger in team fights, but Shen has that split push, has a decent amount of damage as well. Especially in the hands of a really good Shen player, and it makes me miss Ionic Spark just a little bit more every time we talk about Shen.
But they do have Static Shift to sort of take the place, although
very nice pull there in the bot lane by Janna. Exhaust goes down. Unfortunately, Draven's Axes was down, and Janna was smart not to touch Blitzcrank. Very, very nice pull, but not capitalized on.
Yeah, that's a really important thing to note when you get pulled by Blitzcrank, is that if you hit a champion, the tower's going to target you, and if you don't, then the tower's not going to target you, and that's a huge source of damage. You can almost guarantee that if Janna had hit Blitzcrank or Draven as she got pulled or after she got pulled, then it would have ended a lot worse for her, as she would have taken maybe 1 or 2 tower hits, which would have been enough to kill her for first blood. So they're going to have to be a little bit more careful in the bot lane there. But Lee Sin, he might be looking to gank mid.
And we have Nocturne actually coming to gank top here. Aurelia gonna be feared, fear going off, but she does have that crowd control reduction passive, and it will allow her just to run away, so very, very nice job. Nocturne had a good gank right there, but able to get away from it.
Alright, Lee Sin going to see if he can try to gank mid once again, although Karthus is able to stay pretty far back.
Yeah, we are seeing them go in onto Karthus right here. The wall does go down. He is being slowed, but it looks like Karthus is going to be able to get away, and they are going to give up chase.
I like the way Karthus decided to run, because if he had turned the corner back towards mid lane after he got to that little ledge, then he would have ran right into Lee Sin, and he would have also been snared by Zyra, so it's a very good play on him to keep running in the same direction rather than change directions like that.
We are going to see Nocturne come up top again. Fear goes down again. Spell Shield Flash is going to need to be burned, but Fear walking her in the wrong direction. First Blood goes down onto Shen. Very good job by Salad Chicks there, or Salad Girls, picking up that first kill.
That was a really good job by them, and I like the fact that Randu Axie is placing some early game pressure in the game with Nocturne. That's something we actually don't see too often. Generally, most of the time when we see Nocturne jungle, he likes to stay in the jungle for the most part until he hits level 6, putting a little bit of pressure. But there were 2 consecutive ganks in the top lane. It was a really good way to make sure Aurelia gets shut down early, and it's also a little bit unexpected. People don't expect Nocturne to go that early.
Ooh, at least Sid getting himself in a bit of trouble, and all those fears have just been so unlucky. Walking them right into the middle of the team, and it looks like, Blitzcrank could go down here too, forced to blow Flash actually, and he is going to get out with 1 bar of health. Salad Girl's just doing a good job at putting some early dominance.
Yep, Nocturne, he's really doing a great job right now in the top lane, making sure that he gets as many kills as possible, and the fact that Shen has 1 kill and 1 assist, really, it's allowing him to get his Giant's Belt, which is an item that is really, really useful on Shen. Basically, what he's going to be doing now in the top lane is just sitting up top and farming. One thing about getting Giant's Belt on Shen is that it keeps him at a higher health, so that when he does decide to use his health, or his ultimate, he will have a high amount of health, because if you ultimate as Shen, and you have, say, 200, 300 health left, the only thing you're really doing is using your ultimate for the shield and maybe a taunt, but as soon as you get into whatever fight it is, if you don't have enough health, you might be bursted down instantly, which is certainly something you don't want to do. So this is going to allow Shen to basically stay top, farm up, and take little damage.
Yeah, and Aurelia, was beating Shen out in the top lane there, but unfortunately, as you've been saying, Nocturne doing a great job, and there was the pull by Blitzcrank in the bot lane. We are going to see a possible engagement. Very nice disengage. Caitlyn obviously with very strong disengage. Janna being forced to blow Flash, but Lee Sin not being as successful as that Nocturne's pressure.
That's very true, which is a little bit odd, I have to say, because Lee Sin has much better gap closers. In order to get to those ganks, he can safeguard to his own ally, and even if he's not close enough at that point, he can Sonic Wave Resonating Strike to get closer to the enemy themselves. So it's really interesting to see the fact that Nocturne has been ganking a little bit better. I think part of it is because his methods of ganking, right now he knows that the top lane river is warded, so he's going into the lane.
And there is the gank right there. Fear goes off again in the exact opposite direction, and they even burst that Karthus ult. Karthus knowing he was safe there, and very nice kill. Aurelia is pretty much shut down, and in the top lane it's hard to come back.
Yeah, in the mid lane as Karthus, like I said before, he's not really going to be able to kill Zyra all that much. He's got too much disengage as well as turning power. So really, he's just going to try to get as much gold as he can around the map, and using his ultimate to pick up an assist is a great way to do that. And I think they might have been able to kill Aurelia without actually burning the Karthus ultimate because her flash is down. So they just want to get Karthus fed. They want to make sure he gets more AP for the mid to late game.
Yeah, and already Salchik's looking really good, but oh, there goes the engagement onto Janna there. Janna getting stand aside, and oh, but the Caitlyn trap is going to stop Draven from putting any damage. The shield's going to make it so Blitzcrank can't put down enough hurt, and now actually Draven's in trouble. Forced to run and getting hit by the Peacemaker. Now Blitzcrank in trouble here. His passive does go off, but he is going to be Caitlyn ulted to death. Nocturne was even there just in case. And Salchik's doing such a great job.
Wow, that was an amazing play by Jayf on Caitlyn. I loved the trap placement she did there, basically making Draven... He wasn't able to chase Delirium, and Delirium was able to get out of the fight and throw his shield on Caitlyn every now and again from the very back, knowing that she's pretty much safe. After Blitzcrank expends the pull, he has no range whatsoever. So as long as you make sure that Draven doesn't have the gap closers, can't get close to Janna, then there's really nothing the blue team could have done about that bot lane. And that basically allowed Caitlyn to turn around, do a ton of damage, and ultimately turn the fight against Draven, and that was just basically a lot of overchase on the red team's part in that bot lane. As Blitzcrank, a lot of people think, oh, I landed a pull, we need to get this kill. But that's really not what you need to do. What you want to do is, at the very least, take them down to a lower amount of health, and that would discourage them from standing closer to you. That would discourage them from staying up close and trying to get the farm, because they know that the next Blitzcrank pull could possibly kill them. So I really like the play on the blue team.
And Lee Sin was roaming in the top lane there, but he was spotted by that ward. Shen playing really cautiously, and just doing that. Ooh, Caitlyn getting hooked. Very, very nice hook there, but this could be a bad engagement. They are pretty far behind. Caitlyn taking a lot of damage, but she does have, actually, they have equivalent items now, so Caitlyn probably sitting on a little bit more gold. Yeah, we are seeing her sitting on 1,600 gold there. Not the best idea to do that, because right now they're pretty much even. And it looks like, yeah, she's going to be backing off pretty soon.
Now, one of the biggest things I see about this bot lane is the fact that Blitzcrank, he wants to pull Caitlyn so badly, but that's actually the worst choice in this case. Normally, when you think of a Blitzcrank in the bot lane, you think, oh, pull the AD carry, do a lot of damage to him, burst him down, shut him down. But in this case, Delirium is playing Janna. So Janna has some really amazing anti-kill potential, basically saying, alright, I'm going to shield Caitlyn, give her more temporary health, tornado both of you up, slow you down, even ult if it comes to that, as long as she's not the one being suppressed, CC'd, stunned, all that sort of stuff. So what the better choice in this situation is actually to pull Janna so that they can't have that CC happen to them. Because if Caitlyn gets close, well, that's okay in this case because the red team is the ones that will end up being
We are going to see them engaging bot lane here. Nocturne does ult in there. Karthus ult is going out. Blitzcrank just standing there thinking he's dead, I guess. But Draven is going to be able to get away. Very, very nice job. Again, having great communication between the Salad Girls right now.
Yeah, still, as Blitzcrank, you can't just pull anything you want. You have to be really careful about that. But in the top lane, it looks like Lee Sin's going to try to gank.
Yeah, he is coming in here. He does have the red buff. Gonna miss his Q. Aurelia does jump in. Getting the slow off, though. Looks like they are going to dive this tower. Kicking him out of the tower. This could be a kill. But oh, Lee Sin taking so much damage. And Shen going to be using his flash at just the right moment. And oh, he's even going to get 25 gold from a ward to just rub it in.
I must say, that was an amazing flash. You really, really turned that fight around very easily, I have to say. Emir doing such a great job on Shen, knowing his kit. He was able to use his Kai Strike, or Key Strike, whichever you prefer, in order to take down that final hit on Lee Sin, and as soon as he killed Lee Sin, he's like, alright, I'm out. Right away from Aurelia, and that was really such a great play on his part. And in the bot lane, they're able to take this tower as well because they're so far ahead. Caitlyn's already got a BF Sword as well as a Vampiric Scepter, while Draven, he only has a Vampiric Scepter. He's down an entire 45 attack damage from that BF Sword, and Caitlyn scales so well with early game damage that she's just making great use of it with Piltover Peacemaker, poking down at long range for such a large amount of damage.
Yeah, on top of that, Caitlyn's such a good early sieger, and as you can see, that tower did go down. They might look to do more, and actually, Zyra could get caught out here, but she's going to be safe knowing that the blue team's bot lane is gone, and Janna is such a good battlefield control support that I think that they're pretty much going to be okay in most situations here. And yeah, we're going to see them just disengage there. Let's see what they end up buying next. It looks like Caitlyn normally goes for iEdge. iEdge a lot more effective on her. We could see her go for an early Bloodthirster though to continue to beat out some early damage and just continue to keep Draven down. But iEdge definitely would snowball her into late game, which at the moment she has no problem with. And ooh, Caitlyn going to be going on to Awesome Possum. Going to be getting away though. Very nice flash.
A lot of people would say that's a wasted ult, but I personally don't think so, because the main goal that they want to be doing right now is they're going to want to push this mid lane tower. And even if they don't end up killing Zyra, placing her down to a low health still works.
And there is an engagement. Nocturne goes in. Janna ult. Very nice Janna ult. Putting Lee Sin in the back of the team, so that fear goes off easy, and there's no chance for escape.
That was a very good play by the entirety of the blue team to just make sure that they end up catching Lee Sin out for overextending a bit too far. And they're still going to be able to push this mid tower. They're going to go onto the second mid tower right now, and there's really not much that the red team can do because they've been so shut down. Blitzcrank tries to land a pull under the tower, but he pulls a minion instead. The great wave clear on the blue team is really helping them push this lane a bit. We have Karthus, who's got a ton of wave clear on Defile as well as Lay Waste, and obviously Caitlyn's Piltover Peacemaker doing a lot as well. In the top lane, Amir is putting a lot of pressure.
Yeah, he is going to go in and on that Aurelia, and that just wasn't smart, staying there with such low health. Sunfire Cape plus Key Strike plus a Vorpal Blade. Not really the thing you want to get hit with at that kind of health level.
Yeah, Karthus, he's already got his Rod of Ages as well. He's been stacking that for about 2 minutes, so he's really going to be powerful in terms of both health and AP. And at this point in the game, 14 minutes in to already have a Rod of Ages is huge on Karthus. He's going to be able to outplay a lot of people, and we know Karthus to be that basically suicide champion where he goes into the middle of a team fight. It doesn't really matter if he dies, as long as he's hitting as many people as possible with his Defile even after he dies in his passive ghost form, then, you know, it's all well and good. But at this point, he's gotten so much health from that Rod of Ages that he's able to sort of make team fights happen in terms of where he's living for a longer time and able to put out even more damage.
Karthus might be getting caught out here. Shenalt goes down though. Thought he was going to be the first kill though, but it looks like Blitzcrank will disengage him. Zyra might be picking up a kill here, flashing away. Nocturne goes in with the engagement right there, picking up that kill, and Karthus going to be able to get away as well. Still no kills for the red team here. And it looks like they're even going to get a blue buff spawning at a pretty inconvenient time right there. Blitzcrank trying to engage. Draven is there. Nocturne gets the fear off Draven. Stand aside. Not going to get him enough distance. And Shen was just there, able to capitalize on Blitzcrank, making that pull. Probably not the smartest idea, but... Oh, and another drag. And a dragon.
Yeah. Another example of how, as Blitzcrank, you don't just want to land every pull you can. That one was, I have to say, a pretty bad pull, unfortunately, for him. He pulled in one member of the blue team, but there were 3 more right there waiting to follow up on that, so I'm not quite sure what he expected to do, especially since Draven is really, really far behind. He's sitting only at 80 CS compared to Caitlyn's 111, and he's only gotten a BF Sword as well as a Vampiric Scepter, whereas Caitlyn, BF Sword, Pickaxe, Vampiric Scepter, Tier 2 boots, she's almost got an Infinity Edge, and I can see that's where she's going right now. Vamp Scepter for early game lifesteal to make sure she can lane a bit longer, but she's so far ahead at this point she can easily build the Infinity Edge first, and that's going to amplify her damage by quite a bit. If you're a little bit farther behind as Caitlyn, you might want to finish up that BF sword just to make sure that you have some sort of power going into the mid game, but as I said, she's 302, 123 CS, she's not really missing out on any of that gold.
Yeah, and we are just seeing a little farming here. Red team kind of conglomerating right here. Might try to catch out Janna. Caitlyn is now back, so Lee Sin and Blitzcrank could get her in the bot lane. No, not going to happen. And yeah, we're just going to see some farming. Taking a quick step back, looking at a few items in the top lane. Shen pretty much a mile ahead of this Aurelia. And we do see a lot more support items coming out for the Salad Girls.
Yeah, a lot more. We have Locket of the Iron Solari for Nocturne, which is a very good item, and he's really acting as his team's tank outside of Shen, and Shen's really going to be split pushing top for most of the game. So in the team fights where Shen's not there, where he's not using his ult, Nocturne's really going to be the one acting as the main tank, and the Locket is going to help him out with that.
Ooh, and Aurelia diving onto Shen right there, forcing the blow his flash. Vorpal Blade following the Aurelia into the bush, saying, I don't care about your vision, I'm going to follow you. And now Lee Sin looks to be in a little bit of trouble. He does have the double buff, so this could be pretty big. Actually, no, he just has red buff, but Shen coming up, has his taunt, going to be able to catch him out, giving Amir that red buff. And that is going to make a scary Shen into an even scarier Shen.
It really is. 5-0-5 is not a place you want for a Shen, because at this point he could stay top the entire game, keep pushing, and if the red team decides to send one person back up there to stop him, there really is no one that could do that, especially because the red team is so far behind across the board. The person who's the least far behind is Awesome Possum.
Karthus being pulled right to Blitzcrank, not the best idea. He's going to get exhausted. Caitlyn now coming in. Again, you're talking about those pulls that you just shouldn't make, and he's making a lot of them right now for being behind. You really want to pull him under tower or into the middle of your team, and he's just engaging, making fights easier for them to engage. That's one of the downsides of Blitzcrank.
Yeah, the red team's not really doing that well with their decision making this game. We've seen a lot of times where someone would try to go top to stop Shen, but they're alone and they stay in lane a little bit too long and they end up dying. And Aurelia might be taken down right here as soon as they take the tower.
Yeah, the tower is gone. They are going on. Nocturne taking a lot of damage though. 3 members of the red team. Shen does ult just for that shield. Nocturne does ult to cut off vision, and Janna does ult to push them away. That is the disengaged. Red team are now trying to run. Caitlyn going to be able to pick that up, denying the kill to Karthus, but Karthus going to be able to get another kill, so it's okay. Shen continuing to go in. Very nice eye roll in the middle of the red team. Not going to be doing much damage though, and Shen, one axe from being taken down just like Janna, and it looks like Caitlyn could get shut down right here. Very nice pickup by the Zyra. Blue team all really low. Salad girls all in a retreat.
Unfortunately, the first death for the Salad Girls. I actually thought Janna was going to die first at there, but he was able to get out of that fight. And the main place that fight went wrong for the red team was the fact that they initiated it. They were down so many members right there. I think one person was dead. The other couple were near the mid lane. They didn't fight
Aurelia in the bot lane, teleporting to possibly her death here. Nocturne using the Blade of the Rune King, trying to slow her, sticking onto her like glue, getting another fear off. Locket going off to give him the extra shield. Aurelia being taken down really low. Going to be able to dash to the minions, and the chase continues. Hits his Q. It's going to give him a little more speed. Uses the spell shield, trying to prevent any stun. The stun does go off though, but the fear is able to finish going off, and that will be a kill for Randuix. Very, very nice job. Aurelia just teleporting to her death right there.
Yeah, she really was. And right now, the red team, they're trying to split push as much as possible. We saw Draven in that bot lane a little while ago trying to make something happen. They've sent Aurelia top a few times to try to take down that tower, and even though they have taken down 2 towers, it's really not worth the amount of fights they're giving up in their own base. But it looks like the red team, it's 20 minutes, they will end up surrendering. GG, Salad Girls takes the first game.
That was a very, very well played match, and Salad Girls probably feeling really good after taking down Reset GG with such a convincing lead.
Yeah, being taken out by Salad Girls is certainly nothing to be discouraged by. They are a very good team, and they've been here for quite a while. They've been a part of so many different TowerDiveTV Weeklies. It's really nice to see them come back and win some of these games, and that was a very, very convincing win they had there. And if I had to point out a part where the game went wrong, it was basically just in the jungle pressure. Randuaxia on Nocturne was able to make so many ganks happen all around the map, especially in the top lane, getting 2 early kills on Irelia, snowballing not only himself but also Amir on Shen. He was able to finish up that lane really easily, having that lead. And Lee Sin, unfortunately, not really getting any of his ganks to really land all that much. He ganked a couple times in the bottom lane, but nothing much happened. I think he ganked in the mid lane, but Karthus was able to get away. So it was really just jungle pressure that decided this game.
Yeah, and sorry that we did not get to see the endgame screen right there. Adobe Air Client, not the best client, so it does crash sometimes. So we are going to have to fix this real quick. But in the